All right. Well, speaking of new dudes, it is. That was the first 10 seconds. Speaking of new dudes, let's look at a collection view today. I actually have an idea for kind of a final week app. Came to me a little bit ago. I was talking to one of my friends who's a massage therapist. So obviously you know where this is going. So it's a he, but yes.
We're going in a whole different direction now.
So in any case, apparently there's and this is really in any sort of like personal service type industry, where but massage would make the most sense maybe, where there could be creepers, right? All right, so there's a company called Twilio, makes a third-party API that essentially allows you to send SMSs as well as make like robotic phone calls. So I was thinking we could like prank these massage therapists. No, no, it's so the idea would be if you're a therapist and the person's getting a little creepy, you might have various outlets that you might want to kind of contact. So like for instance, in a serious situation, you might want to contact the police. So you would maybe hit a little button on the app, excuse yourself to blow your nose or something like that. So it's quick because you obviously can't like pick up the phone and dial 911 and they hear you and all that stuff. So you'd hit a button on the app and it would have like a pre-recorded message. This is such and such, here's my address. If you're receiving this message, it's because something bad's happening or something like that. Similarly, there's going to be less, like for instance, maybe they would call their send a message to their boyfriend or their husband to come and make noise in the waiting room or something like that, so the person knows there's another person in the building or something like that. But really kind of a communicator like that where you can pre-record messages with destinations and then leverage the Twilio API for sending this stuff out. So I thought that might be kind of a cool final week little project. But in order to start that, we need to look at how a collection view works. So I'm kind of thinking when the app first launches, you kind of have a grid, right? So, and when you can add something new to this grid, and each grid is like, has a label on it for a one word for the type of distress or something like that. Maybe there's one that's just diarrhea. I actually have that on my phone. I call my mom. Mommies make tummies all better. Right?
I thought you had your mom saved as the contact diarrhea.
I do. just in case. So let's get her on the phone. Siri, call diarrhea. Man, that would be so awesome if I literally had that set up. Like, hello, Mom, I'm in class. All right, so let's close this for now, and let's just so we can start with kind of a clean slate. Let's start a new project. Ooh, I've lost the mouse. It's back. So we'll create a new project. And we're going to end up making this a workspace. The nice thing for us is that the Twilio is on CocoaPods, so we'll be able to bring it into the project pretty easily. We're going to go ahead and make this a WatchKit app, though, because that'd be nice if the person did wear a watch. They can quickly do all this from the watch. So we will stick with our WatchKit dealie. And we're going to call this Distress. That's going to be the name of the app, the Distress app. All right, it's going to be Swift, it's going to be iPhone, and we're just going to have the normal extension scene. And we'll go ahead and hit next. And we'll keep this in our CUW folder here. Because it'd be cool if we could actually put this on the App Store when we're done with all our names on it. That'd be neat. So that's our goal over the next several class periods. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to deal with the phone side of this first because we want to look at these collection views. So kind of be able to explore a new kind of view that we haven't looked at. They're kind of like table views. So let's.
Wait, is this collection view on both the watch kit side and the?
You know, you have on the watch side, you really only have picker view that allows you to do something similar. So let's see. Let's make this an iPhone 5.5. This, like this. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll just use our main screen to get us over to a collection view. So the collection view is this dude right here. So it looks like this guy. So we'll drag that out there. Oh. And we'll go ahead and resize that. All right, and let's just give ourselves a button from this main screen to get there. That way we can initially do this inside of a view controller that was built for holding collection views. That way we get all the initial methods. So I'll go ahead and let's create our code behind for that collection view. So we're going to create a new file. This guy's going to be a Cocoa Touch class. And he's going to be a child of a UICollectionViewController. Okay, we're going to call this guy Grid Collection View Controller, Grid CVC. All right, and we'll go ahead and hit next, and we'll add him to the project. Okay, let's go back out to main storyboard. Let's let this guy know he's now one of those. So instead of a default UI collection view, he's now a Grid Collection View Controller. All right, so let's start off with kind of a simple version of this. So notice that we get a single, squeeze this down a little bit so we have a little more space. So here's our collection view. And notice we have one item as a starting point in this collection view. And it looks like this. And we can give this guy a reuse identifier similar to what we did is in a table view. So let's call this guy a cell, just like we did in the table view. Okay. And then let's go ahead and go back into our code. And we should see some pretty similar methods to what we had before. Number of sections in collection view, so we'll change that to a 1. Number of rows in a specific section, so let's change that to a 10 for right now. And then here we're configuring our cell with a certain reuse identifier. Looks like where do they get that reuse identifier variable? Looks like they set it up as a variable somewhere. Is that at the top? Oh, yeah, right here. So a little bit different template than they used for the table view, but you don't have to use that variable if you don't want. I don't know why they chose to use that like that versus just have you write cell down here. But in any case, that's the reuse identifier. And then here's our cell, and this guy is a UI. Let's open up the documentation here. Collection View Controller Cell, UI Collection View Controller. Oh no, it's just a collection view cell, sorry. There we go. So there's our collection view cell, and this is what he's able to do. So we can access the cell's views. So we have a content view, we have a background view, and we have a selected background view. And then we can also manage the cell state, whether it's selected or highlighted. So unlike the default table view cell, we don't have like a text element or something like that we can put in there. So let's kind of look at this initially. We're going to say cell dot background color. Let's just change its background color at first so we know they're cells. Is equal to UI color dot red color. Good enough? All right, then we'll go ahead and return the cell. So this should give us 10 cells looking like that square that we already put on there, the default looking one. Okay, 10 cells in one section, each of them having a red background. So let's go ahead and run this in a 6S, let's say. And then we'll look at some of the additional data source methods for UICollectionView data source. Oh, there we go. So we'll click on our collection view, brings us up, and there we have our grid. All right.
Is it possible to bring it down, I guess, 20 pixels?
Yeah, you can, but I'm almost never going to do it this way, just like we didn't do it on the table view. I'm just showing you initially. We'll almost always embed this inside of a normal view controller or something like that. So make this 1,000 now. So now we have 1,000 of those guys showing up. Okay. So now we maybe want there to be a label or something like that in there, right? So the reality is we need to now go back and create a custom cell. Instead of it being a normal UI collection view cell, it's going to be a custom one of those. So let's go ahead and let's create a new file. Cocoa Touch class. And this guy's going to be a UI collection view cell. And let's call this a custom collection view cell. Well, let's call it, collection CV cell. Good enough. Custom CV cell. Add this to the project. We're now going to go ahead and let our cell know that he's no longer a normal collection view cell. It's not one of these guys. He's now a custom collection view cell. Okay. Now we're not going to change anything else for the moment. So as of right now, a custom CV cell and a normal collection view cell are identical to each other. In here, when we go ahead and get our cell right here, we're going to say we're actually getting not a UI collection view cell, instead we're getting a custom CV cell, even though that guy is just a normal plain Jane UI collection view cell right now, because we haven't distinguished it from that. All right. Run this again. We should see the exact same thing we got before, even though our collection view row, hello, could not cast type UI collection view cell to distress custom CV cell. Why not?
Because you say let cell equal collection views, so why would it?
No, this is talking to the collection view.
Oh, okay.
They're asking him to DQ the reusable cell that has this reuse identifier, which our guy still has that reuse identifier, I believe. There's that guy there. There's his identifier. And he is of type custom CV cell. Does it want us to set it apart? So I just dropped a label in there. So let's go ahead and make it different. Maybe it didn't like the fact that we didn't make it different. So Is somebody howling? I think it might be.
They're howling or something.
All right, so go to the CustomCVCell. Let's drag our label in there. And let's just call this guy the label. Okay, that seems all legit and stuff. So let's go ahead and now give that label a value in our grid CVC. So here we won't even mess with background color. Now we're going to say cell dot the label is equal to blah. So we should get 1,000 blahs. Oh, the label.text is equal to blah. Okay, well, it seemed to be okay with that. Let's run this again, find out why this guy's croaking. Let's just do a quick search on the first part of that error message. Template. Oh. So is it a dumb template? Ah, right here. So we had to register the cell class. So this is like an old template. This is inside of ViewDidLoad. I mean, realistically, we should be able to say CustomCVCell.self. I'm guessing he'll just be happy now. Why do we have to register the class? So we should get 1,000 blahs now. Oh no, still didn't.
That reuse identifier, is that just a reserved word?
No, it's a variable up top. It's before we had something that just looked like that in our table views. It's just a placeholder for that.
Maybe you need to change that in the in the ViewDidLoad. It's the reuse identifier.
Same thing. It's cell up here.
Oh, okay.
Well, that thing we just looked at said delete that. So maybe this register cell class thing is like a bad omen. I've never seen it before. It's like this seems like a dated template. All right, well, at the very least, it didn't crash this time. Oh, and I actually think we're okay right now. We just have black text on a black background, so it's our blahs are not that visible right this exact moment. So if we run this again now that I changed the background back to red, we probably should be able to read it. There we go. All right, so there's our blahs. All right, so let's see what else we can do with our data source. So let's do UICollectionView data source. So we've gotten some methods from this. Let's see, we have number of items in section, we have number of sections, Ooh, that's all we can do with it. Let's do delegate. Does delegate give us more stuff? Should select item at index path. Did select item at index path. Cell highlighting. Should show menu for item. At the very least, we can see how we can click on one of those guys, because we're definitely going to have to respond to that, right? We're going to need this guy. And that could be an override. Oh, it already gave us a bunch of those. Yeah, here's our delegate methods. It commented out for us. Should select item at index path. So this guy would happen immediately before the item is selected. So here, I'll show you that. So we'll do print about to select item at, and this guy's a NS index path. It's going to be interesting. How does it handle the row? Because this is really a grid. All right, and then this one is, that should show menu. So that must be a hard press. Oh, they didn't even give us the override func collection view did select item for index path. Let's steal that one here, paste the same code in here, and then we'll just say did select. We should see both of those guys get called at just different time periods. Let's go ahead and launch this again. So there's our about to select at 39 and did select at 39, 58. So you see kind of the order that these guys get picked. Okay. So let's go ahead and I guess we could start off by putting a couple of images in there. I actually want to mess with sizing. So let's change the size of some of these images. So what happens if I change its frame? I thought those were delegate methods. UICollectionViewController. Let's look at this guy and see what he implements. He conforms to. Huh?
Is there a reason that you want to do it programmatically?
Collection views allow us to have different size things. So you would use this for like images. So let's say you had a collection of images and some of them were square and some of them were rectangle. You could display all of them in their correct form factor. Right, so this is a UICollectionView delegate, UICollectionView data source. What's this guy? Oh, that's a content container. We have something called a UICollectionView layout. see the difference there. So come back here. Let's go into our main storyboard. Here's our collection view. All right. Let's see, we can do all right. That style, show horizontal, scrolling enabled. I'm guessing, does paging allow us to swipe through automatically? Or is it going to still block us off from the rest of it? So instead of scrolling, we can page. I think paging is a swipe. And then we can also mess with the, yeah, that just turns it all off. All right. Should be able to mess with the padding between cells. So you might have to do it all programmatically. All right, we do have a UICollectionView layout class. Let's look at how that guy works for custom layouts. UICollectionView layout. All right, so this provides layout attributes.
If you want to go horizontally, it was on that where you tried clicking page
Yeah.
enabled, it was above that.
These two guys?
Mine looks different.
Or you want to...
Yeah. Got the collection view selected.
Yours looks like this?
Yeah. Yep. Then you choose the vertical or the horizontal.
And then what, it's one gigantic line?
And then you swipe sideways instead of up and down.
Right, but it's one wall at a time? And that's for, but you wouldn't do scrolling, you do paging, right? Or is it still scrolling? You just swipe sideways. Yeah, paging like fills the entire page up. Like it looks like you're turning the page of a book. I wonder if you do paging enabled with that, if that'll do what we're... Well, it kind of does.
It's doing like one section at a time there, isn't it?
Yeah, so let me turn scrolling enabled off, but do paging enabled. I think those two might have just been fighting with each other.
It's gonna do that book animation, isn't it?
No, I think you choose page curl. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so scrolling enable.
Is it actually doing it but the way you have it formatted, you just can't see it?
Maybe, yeah. Let's see, where's the... I think that we can choose. Where's that, this guy? Let's do transition style page curl, and then we should be able to choose presentation in current context. So hopefully that drops it down so it's not the 20 under thing, or it's not covering the top 20 pixels. Let's see if that makes a difference. I would have hated most of that. Yeah, I didn't like the page curl transition. Probably can do the flip horizontal one though. But that's for this controller itself. Legit? Well, that looked kind of slick. So that's swiping one page at a time. Well, I guess whatever. Yeah, you can't just do a single row. You have to do, it's the whole thing. So scrolling enabled means you can move it, whether you can move it at all. Paging means, does it go one page at a time, or does it go like per row? Okay. All right, so let's fill this with some things initially. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna put this on this main screen now instead of this screen, and we're gonna actually use our. We'll steal our methods to bring them in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna put one of these guys right here. Is that a collection view? It is. So we'll throw a collection view here on this main screen. And let's go ahead and set his background. We'll make that, whoa, it's not the one I wanted to make that. There's my collection. We'll make his background black. There we go. Now we can at least see him. And there's a single grid on there. That way we can just see him on the screen. We can always change that later. All right, so our view controller behind this guy, he's actually going to be our collection view controller like we've done for our table views. So we're going to go into our view controller and we're going to change this guy to no longer be a UI view controller. Now he's a UI collection view controller, where our UI collection view controller is also going to implement UI collection view data source and a UI collection view delegate. Those two guys. Redundant conformist. Collection view controller. Oh, I'm lying. This guy's still going to be UI view controller. We're not going to change the type of view controller this guy is. He's going to be a normal view controller who happens to adhere to data source and delegate. Type UI view does not conform. Okay, that's fine because we haven't written those conformance methods yet. So we'll go grab those from our grid CVC. So these are the 3 methods we really need. So copy those guys in there. Okay, except they're no longer going to be overrides. They're going to be normal functions because we didn't get them from our parent. Our parent is actually a view controller. All right, so it'll look like that. For right now. All right, and we'll stick with our custom CV cell just for right now. And we'll stick with the reuse identifier being cell, so we need to go make sure we let this guy know that his reuse identifier is cell, like that. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and fill it up with 1,000 of those guys. Here, we'll make it a little bit bigger. And we need to let this guy know who his data source and delegate are. So his data source and delegate are going to be ViewController, which happens to implement UICollectionView delegate and UICollectionView data source. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and run this. And our main screen should now have same, not cast type. That's a distress. Oh, we didn't, we need to update that in our main storyboard. This guy is still a UI collection view cell, not our custom one. He needs to be a custom CV cell like the other one was. Now we should be good. Oh, another interesting problem. We kind of have to put a label into this guy like we had a label in the other ones and hook them up. Slowly but surely, we're going to make this work the way the other one worked. So let's go ahead and give this guy a label. And then let's let, here it is, the label. Connect that guy up. Now he has a label. And there's our embedded collection view on this screen. All right, so for now, let's go ahead and give ourselves like an add button so we can add stuff to this. And what we're going to do initially, so let's give ourselves a navigation bar up here. Call that main screen. And we'll go ahead and give ourselves a bar button item. And we're going to make this guy an add button, like that. All right, so for right now, let's just have it add boxes to this. Since our boxes already say blah, and we want to see how we have to reload it. So globally inside of ViewController, we're going to keep track of a variable up top here. And let's say var count is equal to 0. And rather than saying 1,000 here, let's say count. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and add an action for that plus button. So we'll keep adding elements to this. All right, so we can actually get rid of that guy, which means we can also get rid of this guy. And let's give ourselves this outlet. Or this action rather. So control click. That's fine, we'll put it right there. Add button pressed. And this is going to be an action. Add button pressed. Go ahead and connect that. Close this, go back in here. And what do we want to do upon the add button being pressed? We're going to go ahead and we're going to say count plus plus. So we'll just add 1 to count for right now. All right, now we see that our data source always returns the number for count. Okay, and my suspicion is going to be if we hit that plus sign multiple times, we can prove that we're getting into count here. We'll just say print count out to the screen. We'll see that these methods do not get called additional times. We're going to have to tell them to reload their data. Go ahead and run this, and we'll keep hitting the plus sign. Oh, hold on a second. I need to update the constraints. That way the plus sign actually shows up on my screen. All right, there we go. So we'll keep hitting this, and we see that count is increasing, but we're not seeing more boxes show up in here. So we need to have access, programmatic access to this collection view. So we need to give ourselves an outlet. Let's call this the CV, or the collection view. There. There we go. So now inside of ViewController, every single time we increment count, we need to say self.thecv.reload data, just like we do for a table view. All right, so now as I'm adding stuff here, we see that it's creating our grid, and we can now slide through there as we have more and more stuff being added. Okay, so that's going to be our starting point there. So let's go back into here. Stretch that out a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put another view controller on here. So I'll give you your homework assignment. And this view controller is no longer going to go to that add button pressed. So we can go ahead and take that add button pressed off of here. We could delete it from our code here. At the top, there it is. All right, so now what is it going to do? It's going to go over to this other view controller, which we're going to change the size of, and it's going to allow us to add a new distress. So a distress is going to have probably a name of the distress, the phone number of the distress, and the message. Okay, so we're going to get 3 things in here. So I'll just put labels in there for right now. Name, phone.
Do you think the address would be important on there too?
I would think that would be part of the message, at least for right now.
We should do is include location services, so it just grabs your location.
Potentially, but
Because I need to know how to do that.
huh?
I'd like to know how to do that.
Well, you can certainly add that if you want, or at the very least, if you want to put location, you can. But the problem is that you might be setting this up at home, when the location you want it to go to is actually in your messages or something like that. But you
could
certainly,
just say wherever I am right now.
wherever I am right now, you could certainly say that's maybe that's an additional part of the message.
Yeah, just send along.
You know, as a, you know, in parentheses, estimated GPS coordinates is that. That's not part of the assignment, but but if you'd like to do that, and we can look at adding that as well. But we're going to capture 3 pieces of information here: name, phone, and message, and go ahead and store those in parse. Okay. If you'd like, you're going to have to associate those with a user. All right. And actually, will you? You won't have to.
Make us associated with
You won't have to for now, at least.
their user.
Huh? Well, I'm just saying you would have to. I was going to say you could just fake a single user. You don't have to add login and register to it, but you actually won't have to associate with the user. So create a new parse project. Update this project with CocoaPods to talk to parse. And then whenever we add something, you should probably have a save button on this screen and a cancel button that goes back. You'll read in the name, the phone number, and the message, and anything else you think is appropriate to hold on to. Save it to parse, and then we go back to that previous screen. It should show the new name on our collection view. So if I come in here and I call it emergency, it's the first name, I should see a new collection view spot that says emergency on it. Make sense? Doesn't have to do anything yet, but that's what it should say right now. All right, questions, comments, concerns? I'll go ahead and put this up on GitHub and put a link up on You shouldn't have agreed to it.
Yeah, I want the extra little 3-hour shift today. You know, pays for extra stuff.
Well, then stop bitching.
I like the bitch.
If you have any sort of extra free time,
Do you need like help with location-based stuff?
Yeah, or you if you know how to.
Yeah, I know.
Just like send me a snippet of code, either one of you, just like of like how would you go about like just grabbing location data and then storing it in somewhere.
Okay. Have you done a Google search for it?
No.
It's like super easy.
Yeah.
I did a Google search and did a bunch of.
You should.
Is,
I should
is it,
show
is
you.
that easy?
Yeah, I
Okay.
should show
It's
you
like
the
2 lines of
yeah.
code.
Okay.
I should show you the comparison to do it in iOS versus Android. I really should.
There-
I would cry.
You probably wouldn't cry. It's not that
Actually,
big a deal in either of them, but whatever.
Okay. And
Oh, I was thinking Mac.
I messaged my dad's friend. And
Okay.
What you said. He hasn't got back to me.
Okay.
I'll let you know if he.
Because that's like a super old technology.
Yeah, I don't know why they're even using it. He said it's for their inventory
Yeah,
system.
more than likely it's because they have an inventory system that's already doing what it needs to do, and it's very old, and why fix it if it's not broken?
Okay.
So, my wife's a COBOL programmer. COBOL's been a dead language for a decade or more. And she's still a COBOL programmer today.
Well, there's that. I think it's in a school system in Michigan. There's still a Commodore PC running their HVAC system.
Hmm.
It has been for quite some time. I gotta give myself a little brush up on pulling stuff back down from parts. I'll work on this now more, or give myself a little bit of a break so I'm not ready for it.
Should work on it more?
3 hours in on it. I meant by a little bit of a break, like 30 minutes, and I go work on it at work before I start my shift.
What are you going to do for the 30 minutes?
Shit.
Oh, you can work on it on your laptop while you're doing that.
Then people just think I'm watching porn.